Hey guys, welcome. Nicole Harlow here, CEO of Brand Better, and I'm going to be your guide today as we go through how to build your wellness brand, your expert wellness brand. And as a little bonus, you get to have a peek of my art studio behind me. I very rarely sit in this. This is my setup. Usually I'm spun around so you kind of see me from the other direction, but I thought it might be fun to just have these little paintings in the background. So I'm going to get into it. This module is kind of a pre-module. It's just a little bit of an introduction, what we're going to learn, and things like that. So I'm going to start sharing my screen because one thing that I did when I put this program together is I wanted to make sure that it was concise and only the information that I think that you guys need right now. So I know that there is a lot of overwhelm that happens when you're getting started with an online business. I remember this back in the day when I was getting started too. So I'm over 10 years now. It's probably going on 11 years that I've been an online entrepreneur / digital nomad, hashtag life goals. So it's been over a decade and I've seen things change a lot since I got started, and I have tested, tried lots of different techniques, lots of different platforms, you name it. I have tried it. If it's in my business, I have done it. I've learned how to do it. And so the thing that's the most difficult for me in all of this is to figure out what exactly do you guys need to know about building a wellness expert brand, and what is a wellness expert brand? That's a good place for us to start. Something that I wanted to do when I was putting this together, like I said, is make sure that I was only giving you the first step information, that a lot of this is really the theory, the framework, how I would go about building a wellness brand, especially if I was just getting started, or maybe you've had a clinic for years, a busy practice for years, and you're coming online and you want to know the rules of engagement now. I'm going to help you out with that too. So let's head over and we're on Canva. So as we already started about talking about tools, Canva is one of my favorite tools to use. It's actually a tool that as a team we use a lot. It's free. We pay for the pro because then we can put our brand kit in there. We can have all of our colors and logos and things like that. But when it comes to presentations, when it comes to making graphics for social media, it's a tool that we love, so and just know that as a team, we are not above using Canva. But that's not what we're talking about today. It's not a plug for Canva. We are talking about how to build a wellness expert brand. So this program is a masterclass series. It's broken up into 3 parts, 3 modules, plus this one is just kind of 4, but it's like a pre-module. And we're going to break this down into the 3 modules that I think are the most important to think about, and each one has some steps to it. So we're just going to go through my favorite framework of building a wellness expert brand. But first, allow me to introduce myself. Nicole Harlow, like I said, CEO of Brand Better and brand strategist. Back in the day, I used to be graphic designer, web designer. I still dabble in that a little bit, but now I have a team of 8 people that help me. Our clients are in the wellness industry. So if you're a functional medicine practitioner, chiropractor, health coach, or something like that, you're our jam, and you're the type of people that we like to work with. A little bit of a broad strokes. I know that these master classes can be 20 minutes of the person talking about themselves. So I want to make sure that I don't do that. There's enough information about me out there on the internet. But what's important for you to know, what's important is that I've been in the game for over 10 years. I've started lots of different businesses before I got to branding. In fact, I got to branding because I had started lots of different businesses. I realized it took me a long time actually to realize that I had no shortage of ideas, a lot of creative fire, a lot of spark, a lot of fire and air energy. So lots of ideas, and then the fire to really put them into place. But I loved the first creative spark, but I didn't really have a lot of follow through. I found it very hard. I used to think it was spent a lot of time thinking that it was a personality flaw. How come I can start things, and then have a really hard time with the follow through. If anybody knows the Enneagram, I'm a classic 7, so lots of ideas, and hard in the execution and the follow through. So that led me to branding. It led me to an understanding that my skill set was helping other people start their businesses. It was taking intangibles, concepts and feelings and smells and tastes and ideas and little blips of ideas, and really making them manifest for myself and for others too. And that basically is what the branding process is. It's just like taking things and turning them into words and pixels. And as a brand strategist, a lot of the work that I do is sitting down and really getting to the essence of who a business is and how to communicate that and who their avatar is. And I love that, but meanwhile, it took a very meandering route to get here, a route that if you saw it plotted on a map, you would see different pinpoints. And one of the pins was yoga teacher training. So I spent a lot of my 20s teaching yoga and things that were based in the body. So dance and different somatic therapies, things like that. And I loved that, but that really led me to women's health, which has always been a real passion of mine, especially around the menstrual cycle and hormones. And so I took a deviation for several years and did trainings in traditional naturopathy and health coaching and nutrition. Worked with women in a small clinic that I started virtually, but I was living abroad at the time. So I spent the better part of 10 years living in Europe, in different countries, Germany, Greece, England, Malta, as part of my #life goals to be financially independent and to be location independent too. So this allure of an online business for me was always about freedom and travel and exploration. It was always and still is big passions of mine, and the reason why I do all of this. It's for me, there's no other choice. This is the lifestyle. And I think if you're watching this, it's probably part of your passion too. Maybe not so much travel and living abroad for 10 years, but I think you're here because you want freedom. I think you're here because you are really excited about creating a business that gives you the freedom to travel, to make your own schedule, to not be tied to a clinic, to not be tied to anything really. So that's what we're going to work on, through these next 3 modules. But I think it starts with, for me, that feels like the North Star, this freedom combined with passion and purpose. I feel like when we tap into these North Stars, we have so much power behind us, so much power to move forward. But a lot of times the question is, how do you do it and how do you get started? So I want to kind of set the scene. Something that I noticed is that a lot of the people that we work with, and this is myself from back in the day, they don't really know what branding is, and they don't really know what a brand is. I use the word wellness expert brand, but you may be wondering what that actually is and what's the difference between a clinician and a wellness brand, and if you're just one person, are you a brand or not? And I'm here to tell you that if you are just one person, even doing this yourselves, you are a brand. And more importantly than that, when you move yourself from brick and mortar and or if you just are starting an online business, you must think about yourself as a brand, because if not, you will just get completely swept over by the tidal wave of noise that is the internet. I like to use this example of, if I was to say I needed to find like a naturopathic doctor in my area, I would be looking around online and I would see, who's within a 5-mile, 10-mile, 20-mile radius, depending on where you live and how many naturopathic doctors there are around. So I'd be looking at that. And I would count it as a win or a blessing if, do they, what's the next thing that people are asking? Like, do they take my insurance? If you're running a profession where you're taking insurance, And then it's kind of a bonus if you meet them and you're like, wow, I really, really like my new naturopathic doctor. I really like my new acupuncturist. I really like my new chiropractor. So the metrics or the variables are very small, right? There's only like a couple things when we're talking brick and mortar. It's like, is it in my location? Maybe you're looking to see if it has good reviews. That's probably part of it. We live in like a modern world and we get to review things and give it 5 stars and Yelp it and all of that. So you're probably looking at reviews, but I kind of set the stage here because once we move online, the rules of engagement are so different. Like for the first time ever, you need to be more likable by more people. You need to be more liked by more people. When I say likable, I don't mean necessarily like bright and bubbly and you got to be so totally extroverted and the life of the party. I just mean like you have to be able to build rapport with your people first when they're going to book you online, when they're going to sign up for your group program or join your Facebook group or follow you on social media or join your mailing list or work with you one-on-one. One of the first steps is to build rapport. And that can be really tricky, especially if you've never been. I mean, even now, it's just like, here I am, and I've got the lightings over here, and here's the mic, and they got the big MacBook and camera over there, and the whole setup. And, I wasn't like, did like learn how to do this, learn how to sit, how to be on camera, how to talk to you now when you're definitely not sitting here in my office. You're watching this, I don't know, maybe a year after I recorded this, or maybe just a couple weeks. I don't know, so I have to, it's a whole new set of strategies. And that's what we're here to talk about today. But I wanted to dispel any myths around branding before we move forward. So one is I want you to really commit to thinking about yourself as a brand, even if you're just a team of one, even if you're just a lowly clinician and you just say, all I want to do is just is do my calling. I don't want to be a brand, but if you're bringing your business online, it's time to commit to being a brand. And what is a brand? I love this definition from Seth Godin. Because I think people really, one of the biggest myths is people think that branding is all about the logo. And that's just one piece of it. And it's an important piece because it's a signifier. And we'll talk a little bit more about visual branding when we get to module 3, but there's so much more, So he says that a brand is the set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that taken together account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over the other. So let's break that down. What does that mean? It means that the brand, there's a couple things in here. One is that the brand is an aggregate or accumulation of lots of different things that include memories, stories, relationships. Notice that he doesn't say anything about a website or a logo. So it's part of it. It's a part of the signifiers, but it's not the whole story. And what's really important here, and I want to make sure that you guys really get this before I move on, because this forms the bedrock of everything that we're going to talk about, is that you don't own your brand. And I know that seems funny. Like you're the one who's doing all the work. You're the one who's like signing the checks or paying for all of the stuff. When it comes to a brand, the brand is actually owned by the perspective that other people have of your brand, right? So Walmart can want to be a high-end designer brand, and I'm not saying that they do, but like if they wanted to, they are at the mercy of how other people perceive them. It seems like an Arby's is not going to be a gourmet meal. And brands know this, obviously this like the weird examples, because like obviously like Arby's knows who they are and Walmart knows who they are too, and who their customer base is and where they are in the marketplace. But I'm just saying that it's really important that we commit to seeing ourselves as a brand, B, that we set a really good foundation for ourselves. So we try to control the message as best as possible, and like who we are, what we do, what kind of transformation that we provide for our clients, our patients, and then get feedback from our clients to see how they perceive us, because once you start putting yourself out there, you'll start to create this feedback loop of of brand expectations, brand personality. And part of that conversation is going to be driven by you, and part of it is going to be driven by your clients. So I hope that that makes sense of what a brand is. And I want to, let's see where we're at. Yes. Okay. I want to go through some of the things just so you know that you're in the right place. We have a lot of clients who are either going through these programs, a lot of clients who work with us one-on-one in the studio through brand strategy or logo development or web development or online program development. So we service clients in lots of different ways, but there's some core things that we hear people talk about all the time. So if you've said one of these, and you probably have said lots of them, or you're thinking them when you're about to move your business online, or you're growing online, you're in the right place. So things like, I don't have a niche or niche, I say both of them. And I know I need one. I don't know how to communicate what I do, who I help, and who I am. This is a big one. I feel too academic and professional sounding, and I don't know how to be relatable. So this is like one of the biggest things that our clients feel when they move online is they're used to being, we have a lot of professors. We have a lot of clients in academia, a lot of clients that are doctors, medical doctors that are like wanting to forge an alternative path. They're really disillusioned with the medical establishment and want to do something different. But when you come online, they don't know how to be relatable. They don't know how to just be like conversational. And how do you write online? Things online should be written at like a 7th grade level. And they're used to writing journal articles, so that's branding. It may not feel like branding, but it definitely is. Things like, I'm not sure what my visual branding, my logo should communicate. Questioning everything from how I should dress, right? Do I wear a blazer? Do I wear my brand colors? Do I do my hair, makeup? All of these questions. And suddenly it's really important. We've gotten a little bit more socialized because we've been on so many Zoom calls over the last little bit of time. But there's still a lot of questions around like, how do you show up, how I should dress, how to post on social media, and how I should be online. And if you're having any of these questions, you are in the right place. This is all branding related. We went through this a little bit in this branding basics section, the difference between brick and mortar and bringing your business online. And what it comes down to for me is it's really much more important to cut through the noise, and it's much more important to be relatable, because building rapport and being helpful is one of the first ways that you're going to build trust with your people. And we're going to go through that in module 2. So I want to just end here in the introduction. We're going to go through the 3 pillars of building a wellness expert brand. Each little video will be its own module. And like I said, I'm trying to cut out the fluff. I'm trying to if I was just getting started, what are the things that I wish I had known, and what do I think are the most important perspective shifts that need to happen? And then we can continue on lots of ways to work with Brand Better, either in a DIY capacity or with us to like actually do the techniques and ground them out. But for now in this masterclass and this series of masterclasses, I want to just get the framework out. I want you to start thinking about yourself in a brand. As a brand, I want you to start thinking about building a really sophisticated experience for people, for yourself. You owe yourself having a really wonderful brand that really cuts through the noise and stands head and shoulders above your peers in your industry. And that's not cutting them down, but what will make you the natural choice for people to work? Then not even the natural, what makes you the no-brainer choice for people to work with. So I'm going to see you in module 1.